Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are my snipers doing today? I hope you guys are doing fantastic. Listen, today we're going to be talking about the one, the only beloved Kaspa. Now, you know me, I'm super high on this crypto. Now, I know people might not want to be hearing that. Usually when things kind of go downhill a little bit in terms of price, people want to just be a little bit more negative and pessimistic. And I understand, right? I understand. You're just kind of like, damn this whole world, damn all these investments. And look, man, I get it. I get it. It's frustrating. But if you look at it from a positive perspective, from a optimistic perspective, this is a great buying opportunity. Okay. For those that are looking to be buying Caspa, objectively speaking, right now is a great buying opportunity. If for those that are just simply waiting, the end of the torture is almost here. Okay. The end of the torture is almost here. I'm going to show you why. First off, something like Bitcoin. Okay. When we go look at the yearly chart, we can see, right? Bitcoin is slowly, and very well possibly could be forming a doji candle. A doji candle is pretty much the end and the big reversal signs, right? Very big reversal signs. So if you see something like that on the yearly, right, you kind of got to expect that, hey, we might be very well dumping next year. What does that mean for us? Well, if we're dumping next year, right? That means altcoins. Altcoins are going to see love. We saw altcoin season kind of really take off, right? Once Bitcoin had a doja candle in April and started to sell off in May, well, that's when altcoin season happened, right? The first one happened when Bitcoin took a dump, right? Boom, right? In April and May, we saw pumps. And then again, it was practically like the October, November time where we saw altcoins see a little bit of love. And also, we saw altcoins see a little bit of love in like the December and January time, just a little bit though, but mainly here, right? And that's when Bitcoin was selling off because the money was transitioning from Bitcoin to altcoins. And look, Caspa recently, not Caspa, ICP recently, within a week span practically, has gone up an insane amount, right? From the first, I think the first to the now, which is the eighth. You'll see this on the ninth. So, but still, right? In 8 days, this thing went up at one point almost 250%, which is crazy. And this is in market conditions where things are objectively low, where altcoins are struggling the most, right? And we can see, right? This is not during altcoin season, it's not during its peak. This is just because CAS or ICP was done here, right? There's nowhere else to go. So market makers are like, all right, we're going up. And to be honest, ICP has a very similar kind of market structure to Caspa. Okay. We can see we have like this type of order block here. We have a little bit of some type of support, and then we have some like middle, like whateverness, right? And we go to something like Caspa, it's kind of the same thing. We have our big order block here. We have like the middle stuff, and then we're kind of just like in a downwards trend, right? We can see, I'm going to draw it properly. We are just in a downwards trend right now. But the point is, what I'm showing you is that, you know, the Bitcoin the Bitcoin is knocking on the door. It's death is knocking on Bitcoin's door. It's time to sell off soon. The transition from Bitcoin to altcoins is almost here. I showed you ICP seeing some love, even though it's not altcoin season, and us having a very similar structure. So why am I telling you this? Well, because we are closer to the finish line than we are further. Okay, when we go and look at something like Caspa's yearly candles, we can see, right? Kaspa 2023, huge pumps. Kaspa 2024, practically a doji candle, right? Showing massive reversal signs and a reverse head and shoulders. And then boom, we went back all the way down and retested practically at the first yearly candle. So we ping ponged, right? We ping ponged. So what would be the next pong? Well, the next pong would be in 2026 to see massive gains. And to be honest, at the bare minimum, if things were to kind of just flop, you should be getting your money back, right? You should be getting your money back. I would be very surprised if we saw pumps, let's say bare minimum edition, right? Bare minimum edition, we saw pumps and it would not sweep these highs. Historically, we always see yearly candles and everything get swept, right? So I would at least probably expect like 23 cents and then boom, again, like something like this. But like I'm telling you, I expect altcoin season. So I don't expect the bare minimum trash, but I'm saying there should be a point in your Caspa lifetime where you were like holding your money, where if you literally bought the top, you should be fine. You should be fine at one point. Okay. We can see when we go and look at something like Caspa, It's ranked 57 out of 9,309 active cryptos. So you got to remember, there's a lot of cryptos, and we're still almost top 50. Okay, we are still almost top 50 in the damn world, despite us being really, really low. We see a 1.4 billion market cap, 60 million volume. We're not on Coinbase or Binance yet, but we don't necessarily need those two. Okay. Yes, of course, it would always help. It always looks good on the crypto resume, but at the end of the day, it's not something that's super 100% needed if the project is objectively great, which Kaspa is. Okay. Kaspa is. So next year, I expect Kaspa to have its show. And how high are we going to go? I personally still think, just in terms of pure market cap perspective, $1 Caspa is more than realistic. Okay. That would be roughly a 20x from here. That would be roughly 14 billion market cap times two, 28 billion market cap. So many projects last year were between the 20 to 40 billion market cap zone, even if it was just at one point. And we're talking about now with much more liquidity, much more adoption. Some people might say, well, there's more cryptos. Well, it's like, not really, right? Not really. Um, there's a lot of cryptos that come and go. There's a lot of meme coins that come and go. But in general, the cryptos that are here to stay are here, right? I think there's only an extra like 300 new legit cryptos. And with how much more liquidity there's going to be, how much more adoption, how much more spotlight there's going to be on crypto, the ratio really, really still benefits us. You also have to remember that for something like crypto, we are super, super young. I mean, we're only at 3.4 trillion in terms of how much money there is. Okay. We're only at 3.4 trillion market cap. You gotta remember the stock market in 2024 hit a roughly 180 trillion in market cap. And now, yes, the stock market has been here longer than crypto. But the point is, right, we can 3x in market cap very, very realistically. And if we start seeing that money flood into altcoins, then I'm telling you, things are going to look very, very great. Okay. I'm telling you. That's why I believe truly Caspa $1 should be on the table, which anyone that bought at the top should be seeing roughly upwards of 5x, which at the end of the day, objectively speaking, a 5x is still a good amount of money. In fact, it's a great amount of money. From here, it would be a 20x. And if you obviously are able to snipe certain lower zones, like we might potentially be taking out this zone before we go up, right? We might be seeing sweep of 4 cents, then you could get even better ratios. And I still believe if we are going to have lots and lots of liquidity, we can still hit $2 because that's roughly 80 billion market cap. Okay. Which I know it's a good amount, but like I said, with all the amount of money and ratios coming in, us even spiking to 80 billion market cap, even if it's just for 1 hour, is a possibility. Okay, now I know people don't want to hear that. $2 Caspa when we're at 5 cents. I get it. I get it. But trust me, right? I showed you how fast ICP moves. I'll show you how fast cryptos move in general, right? When something like XRP found a lot of love during altcoin season, this thing went from pretty much like micro, like not even like a cent, right? It was at 0.0046 within a span of, let's just say from March until here, let's just say 3 months. 3 months went up 80x. 80x, right? And if we wait until like this point, almost a year, a little bit less than a year, okay, like 9 months, more like 10 months, 720x. Okay. So don't doubt it because people that were all the way down here were doubting even this small pump. And I'm purposely zooming it out. But now if I zoom in, people were doubting back then, like even a pump up to here or up to here. And look what we got for XRP. Now, I'm not saying Caspa's XRP, but the point is a 10x, 20x ratio in the peak of altcoin season is not the most unrealistic thing in the world. And the peak, if you're curious to know how much this was like roughly 120 billion market cap um, back in 2017 slash beginning of 2018. 120 billion market cap. Okay, so and remember, it's been almost 10 years at this point, right? It's been almost 10 years. It's been like 8 years, but still, right? Do not get discouraged, Caspa holders. I'm telling you, the technology is amazing. Things are going to be looking good. Things are going to be good. Love you guys so much, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.